All right, today we're going to take a few minutes to look at your poem I Too by Langston Hughes. By this point, you should have read this poem or are going to read this poem at some point in time in the class period today. Um, we're not going to read the poem together. You should have done that on your own. We're going to go straight into the assessment questions and talk about how you should answer these questions to make sure that you are getting these answers correct and you're getting the full points possible, especially when we get to question 5, your short answer. So question 1, which sentence describes the main theme of the poem? What you're looking for here is this main theme idea. Which sentence, which statement gives us the best overall point that the author is trying to convey? Again, you want to be careful that you don't get stuck between two possible answer choices. You really want the one that puts it most over the top. Think holistically on what the author would want the reader to get from this particular poem. Question number 2 is going to ask you which detail from the text best supports the answer to part A. So again, this is one of those questions where if you didn't get question 1 part A right, they're not going to allow you to answer question 2 when it comes to being graded on it. So based on the answer that you picked for part 1, whatever statement you summarize would have been your own words here. What you're looking for now is a quote from the poem that supports that idea in your own words. So again, paying attention to what is the main theme, what does the author want readers to take away from this poem? Question 3, how is the detail of the speaker being asked to eat in the kitchen important to the theme? Again, you want to go to that particular line of the poem where your speaker says, I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. How is this important to that main theme? Again, you're still going back to question 1. If you don't have the main theme to this poem picked out right, you're not going to have these particular answers. Question 4, how is the speaker affected when he is asked to eat in the kitchen? Again, what feeling, what tone, what mood, attitude do you sense when you get here to this poem? What is the speaker likely experiencing? And you can tell that because there's a contrast from what they said before and what they're saying once they get right here. And then you have question 5. How does the poet's word choice contribute to the hopeful tone of the poem? This may be something that helps you out in answering your early questions 1 through 4. Clearly, they want you to make note that there is a hopeful tone. Maybe that'll help you go back and answer some of your questions 1 through 4 about theme and main idea. But we're looking at the poet's word choice. What word choice, and again, you're going to want to cite the actual text here, what word choice contributes to hopeful? So go back through your poem, look at your lines. What lines of this poem inspire hope in you as a reader, or would inspire hope in most readers when they're looking at this poem? Again, you want to make sure that you cite the word choice from the poem and that you get to this point. You have to circle back around in your answer and directly mention hopeful is the tone that is being implied because of this word choice, and you need to be able to explain why. The second thing I want you to look at is on the left-hand side of your screen here. It's the TPCASTT Poetry Analysis Template. When you look at this TPCASTT Poetry Analysis Template, what I want you to think is there a way to break down this poem piece by piece to get a better understanding? And that's what your TPCASTT is going to do here. It asks you to start with the title and consider the title, make a prediction of what the poem is about. So in the future, when we're looking at some of our poems, I'm going to hand you guys a copy of this form, and I'm going to say, as you read, work through this poem too, and it may help you out with some of those questions. So consider the title, make a prediction about what the poem is about. Before you read the entire poem, look at your titles here and tell me, what do you think is going to happen? You don't have to be right here when you answer this particular question. In fact, it's even better if you're wrong, because that contrast of what you thought and what is the reality of the situation gives you a stronger sense of understanding. The second part is to paraphrase. Translate the poem line by line into your own words on a literal level. Remember, one of our terms this unit is figurative language. Look at your poem, and most of this is quite literal and can be taken quite literally. But then there are parts where he is being very figurative, or he's not directly implying what you would directly imply. Although it would make sense, there is some figurative language going on here. So what can you translate from this poem and how does that impact your understanding? By taking figurative language and making it literal, or vice versa, taking literal language and making it figurative, you can kind of get a better understanding of what's being implied. The third part of the TPCASTT template is connotation. Examine the poem for meaning beyond the literal. Look for figurative language, imagery, and sound elements. So what I want you to do here is I want you to pick out different examples of figurative language. Tell me what their purpose is in the poem. What are they supposed to do? Is it imagery where they're supposed to make you see something? Is it a sound element where they want you to hear something? Is it a piece of figurative language that is comparing to things, making you understand a relationship better? We have attitude and tone. Next in our TPCASTT template, notice the speaker's tone and attitude, humor, sarcasm, all. Again, when we got to our assessment questions down here, there's a hopeful tone in this poem. So use that information to answer your question there. What does this hopeful tone mean? What is the author trying to convey with the audience? And if you get this right here and you can put this into your own words, then you're likely going to get some of these earlier multiple choice questions right on this common lit as well. Shifts, note any shifts or changes in the speaker or the attitude. Look for keywords, time change, punctuation. We've done worksheets on word choice. We've done worksheets on transition phrases. Now I want you to look at this poem. Which words indicate time? You definitely should be looking at the word tomorrow. And I thought they had mentioned the word today in here, but tomorrow will do. You definitely have a shift there. That is a key word that indicates a time change. Then you look back at the title again. After reading the poem, after completing up until this point in the worksheet where you're at shifts, examine the title again, this time on an interpretive level. What is Langston Hughes saying he too will be a part of? What is Langston Hughes saying he is a part of? And what is that supposed to mean for your readers? The last thing is theme. Briefly state in your own words what the poem is about. A subject. Tell me what this poem is about. And then what is the poem saying about the subject? This is a two-part question here where you have to know not only what is the poet talking about or what is the speaker talking about, but why. What are they saying? What is so significant? So what? Who cares? Why should it matter? That's what you're looking to do. So again, if you can complete this TPCASTT poetry analysis worksheet, answering these multiple choice questions with your poems especially, you should see a lot better score for your answers and making sure you answer those questions correctly.